everybody. I forgot to tell you, I've been a member for 50 years. So I just got my 50-year pin for MTNA. So once you are in an MMTA member, you're also an MTNA member. And yeah, they after 50 years, they honor you through MTNA. So anyhow, and I teach piano. I forgot to tell everybody. Okay, well, let's get started. We got the first, should I go ahead, Doug, and go
Yeah.
through? Okay.
You see the, can everyone see the MMTA overview? Okay, go ahead, Kate.
Okay, it was founded in 1901. We currently have 585 members. At one time, we used to have about 900, but we're going to work our way back up. We are affiliated, like I said, with MTNA, Music Teachers National Association. And like I said, there is the honors after 50 years, you do get a pin and get honored. And because of the pandemic, they don't have the dinner, but if they, like at Reno this year, they will have a dinner for and honor those members that have been for 50 years. We are mostly independent music teachers, and that's why there is once in a while the IMT, which is in the MTNA direct magazine that you get if you are a member. You'll see that IMT once in a while. With some college faculty. We're mostly made of piano teachers, but I'm so glad to hear that we have jazz organ and all those other wonderful ukulele. Over at KNS where I teach, they now have ukulele and lots of strings. So we have string programs and vocal programs. Anyhow, full-time director of operations. Well, we have wonderful Sonia and Lorna that run the office. They are just great. The office is in Bloomington, and their hours are 10 to 2, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. A little tricky to find, but it's right off of 35W. So you can drop in, you can get all your materials there, or just to say hello. Okay, next slide. I'll go through this. Like I said, once you join MMTA, you're an MTNA member. Yes, after 70, I can attest that you get a discount on your membership. 65, if you retire, which I am not, you can hold office, but you can't enter students. Collegians, you can enter students. You can't, I don't know if you can hold office. I don't think so. High school, usually your teacher kind of says you need to kind of join. So that's your mentor. All of these get a little discount off of these things. I'm not sure what a junior is. I don't think we've ever had a junior. Patron is when they give money to MMTA, like Schmidt Music. And at one time we used to have a lot more up north, but through the pandemic and stuff, things have changed. We have a studio patron with a discount for membership for their employees. So on next screen. Okay, I'll keep going here. You just, Doug, you get to do the one about the land grant. Although I did talk to Camille about that. We're a nonprofit charitable organization. Actually, there are 2 sections of MMTA on the board. And part of it, the programs in that are under a 503c, which is a they get a discount, but the rest of the board is a 503(6), which is we do have to do our taxes and stuff. But well, I think the 503c too does. We give
Yeah.
out, and the 503c can give out these wonderful money awards. The Young Artist Performance winner, and I think that's also our foundation that does that. MMTA Student Composition Contest winners, and I can attest to that because I've had my one student in the composition contest. MTNA travel grants, for sure they give money for the presidents to visit the two, that's if they have the convention. They pay the president to come to the state that they're having the convention in. Plus travel grants go to the competition winners. So there's a lot of money that MTNA gives to the local states. And good readings and exams, level 5 piano exam and higher, you get money awards. Theory, you get money awards. I think it's also level 5. By the time you get to level 8 theory, I believe it's over $100 if you get distinction. Teacher grants, donation to the foundation are tax deductible. And we just had a new one that just donated because her mom passed away and was a very active MMTA member. That was Pat Langer. So anyhow, next.
Okay.
And please jump in if you have any questions, because we have kind of a, we can redo the Zoom, right? Oh, greater good. I'm going to let you do this one, Doug. The land acknowledgement was started in 2020 by Ms. Duhamel, but you can talk about this one a little bit better than I can.
Okay, I'm just going to tweak the share. Just hold on, just so I can include a little bit more than what we're just seeing on screen. 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to just first of all mention that all of the links in this presentation are live, and I'll also mention that we will provide the link. Like we'll make sure that everyone can see this presentation. We'll just put it in the chat and we'll email it to you. We might even at some point get it up on the website as a resource, because my personal experience of going through and helping to create the presentation was that I found that boy, it's almost like this presentation is almost like a set of bookmarks that you can use for the website. So the land acknowledgement, this came out of an idea that our immediate past president, Ann Duhamel, had. And wait, that didn't work, did it? I need to figure out how to make there we go. That worked. Can everyone see the land acknowledgement now? Okay, so we have this thing called a land acknowledgement, and it acknowledges that the land that we are using to, for everything in our lives is essentially land that was not ours. This land acknowledgement is something that's on our website. And we really just want to make sure that we respect that. And then remember that we are here to essentially be the keepers and stewards of our artistic and cultural traditions. That's really what we're here for. And that includes the ancestors and the folks that were here before us. And so also just a really quick another note that this land acknowledgement is on the MMTA website. And so if you haven't been to the MMTA website yet, there is just so much stuff on there. But the land acknowledgement is here under the about. And so the next thing we're going to look at is this diversity, equity, and inclusion piece. So I'm gonna just probably not go to the website as much from now on, unless there's someone that wants to see an example of that. But just know that a lot of what we're putting on the in the presentation is in the website.
And it's also in the handbook.
Yeah. So yeah, then the MMTA handbook as well. So we also have a diversity, equity, and inclusion statement on our website. We have a new committee for that. I'm on that committee. If you have any questions about that, you can let me know. And this is all to do with making sure that essentially that our organization, both our members and our students, reflect the communities that we live in. Me personally, I can walk to George Floyd Square from where I teach. And so that really hits home for me. And that is, I think without that thing that happened 2 years ago, we wouldn't have this page on our new member orientation presentation. Let's just say it really kicked us all a little bit into action. Then finally, we MMTA and the foundation are beginning to talk about including more possibilities of need-based awards to students and teachers. Right now, essentially, the biggest reason for the MMTA Foundation is the merit-based student awards. And so one of the ways we can increase equity is to expand beyond that. Okay, back to you, Kay.
Okay. We have a lot of resources, and even I am learning more about the website and how to use it. You can click onto that if you're a member, and you can go down. You can even go into the directory. You do have to be a member in order to get into the directory to see all the teachers. But someone can come in and that isn't an MMTA and look for a teacher. So it's all in the handbook as to how to get started. And there's an online version available on the website of the handbook, but every member does get a paper copy of the handbook. And the member directory is also on the website. And we just got through talking about it because one of our members, a reinstatement member actually, asked, can I get a directory because I don't use the computer very much, hardly at all. She uses her phone. She does some texting and stuff, but so I think Sonia is making a member directory for those who need to know that. Is that correct, Doug?
Yeah, she mentioned that she would actually be, she actually does already have at least one request for a printed directory. So that's definitely going to be available.
Yeah, and then when we have an online shop and you can order all the materials, MMTA materials, pens, ribbons, theory books, sight reading books, and now beautiful keyboard skills books, which I use. They're great. You can order through the website. Anyhow, we have a monthly newsletter through MTNA, and they do have webinars. And actually, I have their virtual webinars are very interesting. I have used those. We're on Facebook. We have a public page, and we have a members group, which always shows conventions and pictures of the members that are there. In fact, I didn't realize I was in a group picture and somebody said, we saw you there. So it's something to explore. Like I said, you can find a teacher. Someone who is not a member can find a teacher on the webinar, on the website, excuse me. And you can also find a teacher nationally, which has happened with me. someone coming into the state or something was trying to find a teacher, and they saw me in the national website. So anyhow, any questions so far? And
Okay, the very first point on this slide, the one that's highlighted in yellow,
yes,
um,
oh, yeah,
that's probably going to be a resource that everyone's going to want to make sure that they get. If you're not seeing an email from MMTA once a week, it means it's going to your junk, or it's going to an email address that you don't use. The email address that it's going to is the one that's in the member directory online. So definitely check your entry in the member directory online and make sure that everything is current. But then that email is super handy because it's not just announcements about registration deadlines, but it's also other timely information as well. So that's a really great resource. I find myself gravitating to that much more than the monthly. Actually, I think when we said monthly newsletter, that's actually not correct. That's wait, the MTNA one is monthly, but yeah, MMT actually does have a print or PDF quarterly newsletter as well. So that's
yeah,
another resource available.
yeah,
It's less prominent now, I think.
yeah.
Make sure
I kind of forgot about the top one there
Yeah, it's
because it's
funny.
in yellow. Anyhow,
I made it invisible.
yes, you did. Anyhow, do use that because I miss deadlines. If I don't read that, I'm going to miss a deadline. Piano contests. Shall I go ahead,
Yep,
Doug?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, piano contest is our biggest program. Used to be like 5,000, oh, so many kids from all over the state. It culminates in this honor concert, which is now at the Convention Center in Minneapolis. And I really love the honors concert so much that I help put the kids on stage when every year, and I just really love it. Repertoire lists are mailed to all the members in the late summer. You can go through that is competitive, so it's age appropriate there. But they have incorporated, I'd say in the last 4 or 5 years, the solo festival, which uses the same repertoire, but it is non-competitive. And you can put your student in at any age. You don't have to be 13 to 14 or 15 to 16. And the music, you can choose which level you would like to do. It's very worthwhile. And you have to have it memorized. Piano and theory exams are great. The piano goes all the way up to level 11 with a capstone up there. If you use the capstone, then you do have to use the theory exams. The theory exams are all the way from 1 to 8. And like I said, each of those, if you get distinction from level 5 up, there is some monetary awards from the foundation. Vocal instrument exams. In fact, I just talked to a teacher that might join because she's interested in strings. And so there are exams, contests for them. And also if you get a distinction, you get some monetary awards. And they do highlight these top students at the at our own MMTA convention on a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon. We have music bridges, which is awesome. They get to do their own artwork, or if they're ballet, they can incorporate that along with their music. They can be a trumpet player, a strings player, anything. And it's got a lot of diversity there. Popular styles, Doug, I'm going to let you talk about that one.
Just briefly, it's an exam program for piano students, but it uses contemporary. Well, I guess I'll say When I say 20th century music, when I say 20th century music, I mean 20th century popular music, jazz, rock, folk, blues. Our repertoire lists are that kind of music, and it's also incorporates some improvisation at the higher levels, and it takes a very different approach to theory as well. Very more of a contemporary, jazz and rock take on theory. So.
And I have to say, those students are really outstanding. They do a listening. They have to do some listening of different rock styles or jazz styles, and present that. It's really a good program. Ensemble Festival starts we usually have those in the fall. So they're starting up now, in fact, October and November, from different areas of Minnesota. The Challenge Awards, you get ribbons and trophies by points. So you get 100 points for some of the exams. I think you get 200 points for honor concert if you get prelims and finals of honor concert. There's more points at the top levels. And then you can get ribbons and then pins to put on that. And the trophy is big, huge. There's different levels of trophies. So anyhow, next.
Just real quick, Kay,
Yep.
question, the solo festival, the piano solo festival, does that require theory?
No.
Okay. Great.
No.
And then one more question, or comment, the piano contest link on this page, once you guys get the link to the presentation, so you can click on the links on your own. It's a neat video. That link is actually a link to a video that MMTA put together a few years ago that shows what the honors concert actually looks like if you've never seen it, to give you a nice visual picture of how cool it is. And so just wanted to mention that. Also, the vocal and instrumental exams, the vocal and instrumental contest. Once people get through the prelims, there's an entire festival, is almost like a festival format. There's a whole day where all the vocal and instrumental students and teachers get together, and they do the finals of their contests in the morning, and then they do kind of like a group pieces of each program. The strings get a group piece, the vocal students get a group piece, and the guitars get a group piece, and then one of the teachers acts as a conductor for that. So it's a little like piano contest's honors concert, but it's just a big festival environment for all the vocal and instrumental programs, and it's kind of a neat thing. And this year it's going to be early March in St. Cloud.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That's new. Is that new this year, or?
Well, they did it last year, but it was at the same day and on the same site as the piano contest final.
Oh.
But this year they're going to have their own event, and they're going to make it more centrally located, because Lori, who's our vocal and instrumental VP, and a lot of our vocal students live up in northern Minnesota, and then there's a pretty strong presence for guitar in St. Cloud because of one of our teachers.
Okay, very good. Composition contests. I highly recommend that. My student just asked if he could come up with something, and he this last time he did a sonatina, and actually I do it with Mitch Gressing, and we did it together, and he got to perform his piece at the convention. So there's a composition festival, which I do not know about. Is this something new too, Doug?
Actually, I'm sorry, what's new?
Composition festival.
Yeah, that kind of came out around the same time we instituted the piano solo festival.
Oh, okay.
Folks said, hey, why not have a non-competitive composition event as well?
Okay. Teacher's original duet composition contest. That has been going on for quite a long time, even back when I was president in the 90s. So the teachers, and they put in their composition, and they take 2 or 3 judges to look at the compositions, and then they place those in the duets for the honor concert. And it's really neat. We've had quite a few over the past, I'd say 30 years, 40 years. MMTA Young Artist Contest, and I see you have the piano, all the in red, those are all links. So be sure to go back and click on those links if you have questions. The Young Artists contest is, the prelims are on the same day. The finals are usually on the next day. And then the winner of the collegiate young artist, the high school young artist, the junior high young artist, the 2 top ones get to perform at the honor concert. We haven't had a collegiate. Did we have a collegiate last year? I can't remember. But the collegiate is like every other year or something. But the high school for sure is always performing at the honor concert as a soloist. And the junior young artists perform at a special concert with the other winners of different, the instrumental, the vocal. And usually it's been at Northwestern. The logo design contest is for students. Can you talk a little bit about this, Doug? Because I'm a little green about this one.
Oh, sure. No problem. Every fall, and the link has already been provided in the weekly newsletter, which is why it's so important to read that. But every fall we open up a logo wear design contest, and what that is that students can draw a T-shirt design essentially, and then once the winner is chosen, then that winning design is put on T-shirts that are sold at the contest prelims and the contest finals and at the honors concert itself. And I believe also they're sold at the third one of the honors concert rehearsals. And then also they're sold online. And so that's a pretty popular program. When kids get done playing their piece at contest prelims, they walk past the T-shirt stand and they get their, almost like they get it's like there's a little reward for getting through the experience. And so super popular. Yeah. And then we have tote bags as well.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
I've given students some of those. The music link, I have had a student in that. That's for financial need. You go through, I thought it was MTNA that you went through, but MTNA has dropped that. So it's not a program, but Sue Weggy, I think, is still in charge of that. And she helps you get into Music Link, and basically you try to come up with a fee with your student that works, because not every student can afford lessons if they don't have some break in the fees. So, and they do have a program. They used to perform at the Mega Mall. So once a year, I think they do have a little concert or something. And it's been at the Mega Mall, I think, or different malls. It started at Maplewood Mall and some of the other ones, and now they kind of diversified on that.
Right. There's a thing, and it's usually the first or second weekend of February, a Saturday and a Sunday at Mall of America, and it's called the Playathon.
Yeah.
Where students can take pledges from their friends and family, and then for every piece they play at the Playathon, the money is donated to Music Link. Music Link is actually a national program. They actually have most of the money that's raised by Music Link goes at these playathons and any of their other fundraising events actually goes to scholarships for camps, for music camps for the kids. As far as the nuts and bolts of Music Link, even without the fundraising event, it's mostly just a teacher decides to take on a Music Link student, and then the teacher decides how much they want to discount the tuition. The recommendations go half price, but some teachers give free lessons to Music Link students. And then Music Link also has a program where they give out free books and instruments to kids. Honestly, Sue says that the biggest challenge with Music Link is finding the students and getting them going on lessons. There's more teachers willing to do it than they can find students for sometimes, because getting a student into lessons is a logistical challenge for some families.
Yes, and you can get free pianos too.
Yeah, they will have that is an option, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Kay, just before we move on, just going back real quick.
Yes.
Just to mention that going back to the top of this slide, the student composition contest winners, there is a composition contest recital every June at our annual convention.
Yes, yes, that's what I was saying. Yeah, he got to play his piece at the convention.
And that's an event that I never miss. It's really, really fun.
Yes, they're spectacular. Yeah.
And then going to the MMTA, the State Young Artist Contests, in addition to playing at the honors concert, which was mentioned on the previous page, all those same Young Artist Contest winners are also invited to play in a concert. It's called a competition winners concert that includes more than just the ones that play at the honors concert. And that's always the Sunday night of the convention. And so that's a really great event too, because that's all the top students from all over the state. And some of these students are just scary good. It's ridiculous.
Yes, yeah.
And then finally, I think maybe let's mention it's always hard to keep MMTA and MTNA. It's separate. It's kind of unfortunate the names are so similar. They both begin with M and they both end with A, but the MM is state and the MT is national, Music Teachers National Association. And they actually have their own performance composition track. And that one has 3 levels: it's state, division, and national. The state and divisional levels in the MTA performance competitions, I believe, are video. And then the national competition, you go to the national convention and compete there. And so for anyone who ever goes to our national convention, that's a whole nother level of ridiculous talent that you can see. Some teachers go to the MTNA, the national convention, just to see those recitals.
I'm one of them. They talk about scary good. They are outstanding. And Minnesota has had quite a few. In fact, one of my teachers had gone all the way up through collegiate. So, and they do give money awards for those too.
Okay, and then as do we, the state level young artist competitions, the first place winners get $400 for the senior young artist.
I thought the senior young artist got even more, but
well, I think that's kind of what it is right now. If you look online,
okay,
that's something that I think MMTA needs to do a better job of advertising that those awards exist and what the amounts are. So
yeah, that would be great.
Okay, next.
Well, the state convention is every year. Last year was virtual, but Doug, I think you probably know more about what's happening with the state convention this year.
Right. We actually had virtual conventions in 2020 and 2021. This year in June, it's always every June. 2022, we had an in-person convention at the Hilton down by the Mall of America and the airport. It was our first in-person convention since 2019.
But it was also virtual too.
I don't know that there was any virtual events at this year's convention.
Oh, I thought I clicked onto that. So.
Oh, this year?
No, maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe time flies, huh?
Yeah, sorry.
The one 2023 convention will be also in June, and that's going to be at the same place, the Hilton and at 494 and 34th Avenue. And so you can look online for information about that. We're excited to have Leah Claiborne as our keynote speaker this year. We're going to have a very strong diversity, equity, and inclusion focus this year. In fact, she's going to work with our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee throughout this year to help shape the programming for the convention. So that's really exciting.
The piano contest workshops are happening now. It's through Minneapolis and Cynthia Alley, who's listening, St. Paul Piano Teachers and Minneapolis Forum put that on, as well as probably St. Cloud, Rochester. They have those going on too. And they go through all the repertoire from primary all the way up to senior B. And they have somebody come in and play all that repertoire and put notes in the metronome markings and things like that. But that's going on now in October and November. And there are 6 to 8 of those. Theory Thursday, that's starting up now. In fact, I believe it was yesterday. But they're on, and correct me here, Doug, but I believe they're on videotape now. You can YouTube. You can YouTube them anytime. And they go through the theory books. They're on level 5 right now, rhythm. I think Laura Harding just did a thing on rhythms. Composers, please submit your works for a repertoire list. Can you tell me about that, Doug? I don't remember. Did we cover that?
It's a little confusing because we talked about the teacher duet competition. You know, if you haven't seen an honors concert, the honors concert is basically duets. They get 10 pianos on stage and 2 kids per piano, and so the one we mentioned earlier is composing duets for the lower levels of the honors concert. But this is just a push to have local and you know, Minnesota composers include their own works in our repertoire lists. And so that's just, I think that kind of plays into the diversity piece a little bit too. Just for the simple fact that we have a lot of, you know, like a lot of our repertoire lists are sort of the classical repertoire, and if we have new music being composed, that's just a good thing.
Yeah, and because my thesis was on Minnesota women composers, there are a lot of composers out there that publish their own music, guitar too, vocal, and I don't think they realize that they can submit their work to MMTA. So there's a area that hasn't been explored, actually, I don't think. Local associations, we have 11 different locals. We have kind of satellite groups that usually they're MMTA people, but they're not locals. All the way from up there in Bemidji to down Rochester. The only area that doesn't have a local is way down in the southern corner down there. Mentorship. Mentorship is started in 1994. I know, because we decided that we were going to put that in. So that was one of the things that went in when I was president. I guess that's why I have this job. Anyhow, what we decided, because I had a member at that time, I called all the ones that hadn't paid their dues throughout the state, and there was one young lady that was up in up Moorhead, someplace, and she thought we were you know, we didn't associate with them. So up there. So I said, well, we need a mentorship. Um, and so we got that in, and eventually MTNA put it in also. I believe they have somewhat of a mentorship program going, a little different, but they do have that. Anyhow, American Music Teacher, we just got that. It's got a very interesting article on the brain. It's bi-monthly. It used to be monthly, but now it's bi-monthly. There's webinars, which are very good. You can be nationally certified, and you can click on the link. It's worth doing that. MTNA Foundation grants, we kind of covered that in before. So you want to add anything, Doug, to this?
No, good start.
Okay. All right. Financial service. I'm going to let you talk about this one because you're the treasurer.
Well, this is just you know, there's a whole you know, a portfolio of services that are provided on the national website. And I think the idea is, you know, templates for all the things that you need to do to run your business. So our current national president, Karen Thixton, is big on that. And there's also a section for member discounts. One of the most popular, unfortunately for new members, one of the most popular discounts isn't quite as sweet as it used to be. We used to get this insane deal on photocopies at Office Max and Office Depot. Yeah. And it was like 3 or 4 cents a copy. And it was just fantastic. And I think there's still a discount, but they make you jump through a few more hoops to get there.
Yeah, I use my discount at Office Max all the time.
Yeah.
For
and finally, your
materials.
You know, go and make sure you update your profile on the national website as well as on the state website, just in case you get that student who is doing a national search for a teacher or for a resource that you might be able to provide. Oopsie, hold on. There we go. I think we talked about the state convention already, but the national conference is in Reno this year. Last year's national convention, I should say this year's, the 2022, was supposed to be here in Minnesota. Yeah. But they canceled it at the last minute because they were afraid that people wouldn't come because of COVID. Yeah, it was canceled like 1 month before or less. Yeah. And that's one of those unfortunate things where they probably were thinking, you know, we're gonna lose money because no one's gonna come. And that was at the time where things were pretty uncertain. They still are, of course, and people are still getting sick, but it's a little less, you know, scary maybe than it was a year ago. And so they're giving it to us again in 2025. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I think they're fun. I've been to at least 15, 20 of them, and they are well worth going to. So last but not least here, we're getting towards the end here. Does anybody want to see an example on the website of how you go about entering a student in piano contest? Is that something people would be interested in? Maybe? Okay. Maybe, Kay, if you don't mind, I'll just kind of walk through some of this stuff. Sure, because I can't hear them. I guess only you can hear them talk. I saw a couple of heads nodding, and so that was good enough. Okay. Okay, I can't see their pictures. Yeah. So I'll just go through these 2 slides, and then I'll switch the share to the website. Oh, so, now I got the gallery. You're reading this page right now, and you're seeing that I kind of have a bias that even though we have a great website, it's best to start with the handbook, because the website itself, I have personally found that it works best if you already know what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really work that great if you're saying, I'm a brand new member, and gee, I've heard about this thing called piano contest. When is it? The way you get that question answered is in the handbook more readily than the events listings on the website. The events listings on the website are searchable to a certain degree, but there's some restrictions there that everyone should be aware of. I mean, having said that, there is a big push right now to update the website, but we're kind of being super careful because it's not free. So very quickly, what you want to do is you actually want to start with knowing when the preliminaries are for your area, and it's usually in January. You want to note the deadlines and fees. You want to note the age requirements, and then also be aware that the contest has theory prerequisites for some of the upper levels.
Mhm,
Theory exams must be completed by December 1st.
mhm.
And so backing up even more, choosing your repertoire and ending a workshop and attending the workshop. So this, I mean, if you are thinking about entering students at the very lower levels, you could probably still do it this year. But if you've got some students who haven't started their theory and you want to get them into the upper levels of contest, you're probably not, I think that ship has sailed for this year, to be honest, unless you've got someone who's so good that they can crank through a theory book in a month, but most people say it takes longer than that. And then I've got an example of, now that we know that there's theory requirements, that I'll show as well how to put a student in a theory exam. So here's the MMTA website. Everyone is able to see that, I hope. Okay. So again, as I mentioned, when you see the very top of the first page of the website, you see the events calendar. If you click on the events calendar, here's what you see, nothing. You can go down and say, well, I want to see piano contest. Where's piano contest? There it is. Contest, piano. Still nothing. Well, maybe it's because I forgot to say enter or apply. I hit apply, still nothing. So you see what I mean? The piano contest isn't right now. If I go all the way to January, then I see, oh, there it is. There's the Minneapolis or Twin Cities preliminaries, which are on January 21st and January 22nd. And here is the virtual piano contest preliminaries. There is a virtual option. Students can take a virtual preliminary test, which is good to know. And then here's different dates for St. Cloud, Duluth, Detroit Lakes, Rochester. So if you really want to use the events listing to find things, you can just, keep hitting the forward button on the date to January and you'll see them. But I'm going to suggest people look at the MMTA handbook.
Mhm.
Notice I'm not logged in. You don't have to be logged in to see the handbook.
No.
You probably have to log in to do certain things. So here's the handbook page, and then the handbook shows up as a PDF. And you can just hit download and it'll just open it up right in the window you're in. And you also have the option of downloading it to your desktop, which I find works a little better for searching. I can say open in desktop app, and then it'll open in Acrobat. Okay, so I'm going to go to the table of contents, and I'm going to just say, oh, there's piano contest. Okay, and it's on page 21. So if I go down to page 21.
Actually, I photocopy a lot of these pages and paste them.
Yeah. The handbook is available for, you can ask the office for a print version of this handbook and they'll mail it to you. So here's piano contest.
Doesn't everybody get it when they pay their membership? Because I got one this year.
I thought it was going forward, it's going to be
Just on
online only.
Oh, okay.
So here's the piano contest page. And I don't need to see this stuff. Let me just do this. There, even better. And so you can see that January 21 and 22 are the dates for the piano contest prelims in the Twin Cities. The virtual is January 22nd. That's the deadline for submitting the video for all districts. And then you've got these other deadlines for other areas of the state. by the way, if you don't know exactly which area you're in, if you can always call the office, or I think there might be a, you can actually enter anyone you want to, but if you look at the locations here on the right, you'll see you'll be able to tell which one's closest to you. And then New Ulm has not set a date yet, it looks like. So that will get updated. The nice thing about using the online version of the handbook is that it'll be updated as soon as information like this comes in. Okay, then finals are March 4th and 5th. So if a student advances to finals, they're in person.
Only,
This
yes.
is all at the U of M. And then the honors concert is Saturday, June 3rd at the Minneapolis Convention Center. So that's why this handbook is so important, because those dates, like Kay was saying, that's a page to just print out and tack up on your studio wall. And then we have the registration deadlines for all these areas. So definitely be aware of those. Here are the prices. There's a general rules and procedures page of the handbook that it's good to read. All this stuff is just good reading. Then we have category requirements. These are all the age requirements for the different categories. So if your student's birthday is, well, don't worry about what their birthday is, but just ask them how old they are. I've never met a kid who doesn't like to tell you how old they are. But these are the age requirements for the different categories. And then if you go to your repertoire list, it'll show what the repertoire choices are for that category / age, if that makes sense. Okay, so then let's just say I'm going to enter a student in a upper category that requires theory. So I'm gonna look at this requirement here to be eligible to perform in the finals after passing prelims. Anyone in intermediate A and higher must pass theory level 2, the 2015 version, or theory level 1, the 2002 version, prior to December 1st. So it looks like if I'm going to enter a student in contest, depending on level, the first order of business is either to enter them in a theory exam or to register them for the prelims. So I'm going to.
And I think that level 2 theory is good all the way up to senior A.
Yeah.
And B. It's the junior young artists, they have to do the higher levels of theory.
So now I know that I need to look for theory exams. And so I can go to my events listings. And of course, there's no word theory. There's no word for theory in the filters. But if I say piano, that'll get theory, because this is piano contest, so it's piano theory. And now I can see that there's no theory exams in September. There's virtual theory exams that have a deadline of the 29th of October. For me personally, I think that would be very popular to do a virtual theory exam. There's in-person theory exams in November, and the way it reads here is that these are events, not programs. So on November 5th, and it looks like these are virtual. There's virtual piano, keyboard skills, sight playing, and popular styles exams, no theory. On November 5th, there's also in St. Cloud, there's piano, keyboard skills, sight playing, and popular styles, still no theory. November 12th, there we go. Twin Cities, theory exams in person at the University of Northwestern. November 13th, theory exams in Alexandria, and so on. And so you pick the one you want. Suppose I'm in St. Cloud, then I look at my theory exam. Uh-oh, I have to be logged in to register for a theory exam. So since I've logged in before, my credentials are sitting right there. So I log in.
Excuse me, can I ask a question? It's Lee speaking
sure.
here. Yeah, how do you guys convince your students of the utility of doing the theory exams as opposed to piano exams? Because piano exams, I've done it. I've taken 2 of my students to do exams. It went really, really well. We're happy, but for theory exams, what leverage, what arguments would you put forward to try and convince them to work towards applying for a theory exam?
Well, for me, my students do the MMTA theory books. Whether or not they all do the test is a whole different ballgame. But I kind of convince my students, because they do get points towards those ribbons and things like that.
Yeah.
Uh, I think my story to them is that it's very important to have this basic background, and if
Yeah.
you put them in, they if they it also, if they want monetary awards, like for piano exams level 5 and above, they have to have the theory done.
Yeah.
So if you
Okay.
can convince them that way,
Yeah, that's always an incentive for sure.
say, you will do this level 5 piano exam, but you have to have the theory, because you might get some money for this. So
Yeah, that will work.
then their eyes kind of light up. That's how
Yeah.
I do it. Yes.
Uh-huh. That's great. Yeah, because we do, I mean, I'm sure most of us do, but we do include already a lot of theory in our how we analyze pieces and give them tools to practice at home independently and so on. So yeah. All right, yeah, I'll use that. Thanks for the tip.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. And sorry I interrupted.
No, I'm glad that you interrupted, because I just need to be reminded that I need to ask if people have questions.
That's okay. Thank you.
Okay, so then I could go through the registration, adding to cart thing, but I think maybe what I'll do is I'll just move on to, suppose you've successfully gone through this process and now you're ready to enroll them for the theory or for the contest itself, and then I just go back to events again. And then I now know that the contest prelims are in January, so I'm just going to really, now I know that, so now I can just go right to the events listing, and it's not so scary anymore. And where was I? Was I St. Cloud, I think?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I got to find this one, and I got to make sure I don't do the solo festival. I got to make sure I got to do the contest. So where the heck is that one? There it is, St. Cloud Piano Contest Prelims, view details, and so on. For Twin Cities folks, I think it's probably worth mentioning, and I've got caught by this before, that because of the quirks of our website, there's a separate event listing on the website for the Saturday versus the Sunday. So you see two Saturday listings here, one for Piano Solo Festival, one for Piano Contest Prelims.
Mm-hmm.
And then scrolling down a little, you see Sunday. And so there's Sunday and then virtual and then Sunday. So it's not super user friendly. If you have a student that wants to do Saturday or wants to do Sunday, you got to make sure you pick the right one here. And if you want to change it, I'm sure that it's not a problem to change it before the registration deadline. You can probably call the office and they'll reschedule it for you. But it's a little bit of a gotcha, in my opinion. You should be able to. There should probably be one link on the entire website for piano contest.
Can I interject something here?
Yeah.
For some people that do not like to use this, you still have the option of doing paper registrations.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, if I go back to the events listings here, it seems like somewhere I should be informed of that. No? There should be something telling me that I can register manually.
I think it's under programs someplace you can get the registration forms. Unless they don't have that anymore, but I'm pretty sure they do.
I know they say that on the the online shop page, but I guess you have this non-members may download registration forms. I guess that's not super clear. If I go to the online shop, then I do see a link.
Yeah, you do have to kind of search for it, but
if you want a paper form, but that's not the same as registering for an event. I guess
yes.
that's kind of weird.
Yeah. it should be under registration for events, I think.
I believe the paper registration forms are also in the handbook, no?
Um,
Do they have those in the handbook anymore?
no, I don't think so.
Okay,
I usually have to print them out.
yeah. Let's see. I think that pretty much, that covers the basics of registering for events. Again, if you know, these listings here on the events page are useful if you know what you're looking for. So just definitely, the handbook is your friend.
Mhm.
So I'm going to kill the share, I think. And then maybe we can go on to Q&A.
So, well, welcome back here. If you have any questions,
Before the Q&A, just a plug to get involved, right?
yes, please. In fact, because I work at KNS Conservatory, I've there are some members that are not MMTA members. So I am working to show them that we have all these available things for strings, for instruments, vocal. We're just not all piano teachers. And even in the when I was president, you know, most of the voice teachers used to be up north. Same thing. They thought they were not part of MMTA because we didn't have any programs at that time. But now it's very. I think Nats has theirs, but now we have lots of things or more things for these instrumental and vocal people.
Yeah, we know for sure that we're getting somewhere, because this year there was actually a scheduling conflict.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I mean, bad
Minnesota.
news.
Yeah, we scheduled our national voice or national competition prelims for the same day as the NATS, which is the National Association of Teachers of Singing.
Oh yeah, yep, Nats,
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we're good on. We've given you plenty of info, so. The email address at the bottom of the screen there is actually Diana, who is our VP for membership at MMTA. But if you just find the email that I sent or the one that Kay sent, you can easily ask us the questions too.
Oh, sure. You can use me as a resource anytime, I believe, except for Cynthia, which I have because she's been a member for a while. She did not receive a letter from me, but all the new reinstating collegiate high school receive a letter from me, and they can email me, text me, call me anytime, and I will try my best to answer their question or get them to the chair of what they or someone who knows more information than I do.
Does anyone have any thoughts? If they want to. Was that
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
For the instrumental exams, you had a ... after guitar. What other instruments are included in the instrumental exam?
Gosh, I believe that we're working on a clarinet syllabus. I believe there is a flute syllabus. But that
Okay,
was under woodwinds, I guess.
okay.
Yeah. What are you interested in?
Trumpet,
Okay.
brass.
I don't think we have a brass.
So I'll mention that to Lori.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, what it usually amounts to is that the same thing with the popular styles. It's a member who usually creates those exams.
Okay.
It's a very grassroots approach to things. So if you found that there were enough people who wanted it, you basically just grab one of the other exam syllabuses and cut and paste. You know,
Okay,
that's probably going to be unless maybe a good first step is just to find out who all the brass teachers are. I know we've got Lara Dietrich here in St. Louis Park. Who's very active. She has a studio just across the highway from me, and she's a trombone player.
okay,
So maybe she'd be a good resource, Lara Dietrich.
okay.
So if you want, just if you can't find her in the directory, let me know.
She's in St. Louis Park?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other
Yeah.
questions?
I have a question. Do you remember how many different kinds of syllabuses we have besides the theory and the piano syllabus? Don't we have a strings?
There's the strings, and then there's guitar, there's flute, there's voice.
Voice, yeah. Yeah. So
For
there's,
sure, all those.
yeah.
Am I missing anything, anybody? I know my partner, who's a voice teacher, has some, she teaches at Shattuck St. Mary's in Faribault, and they attract international students. Some of them are quite good. So I let her know about the Senior Young Artist Awards, and maybe some of those students could apply for those competitions. And then there's the theory requirement, you know, so just for everyone to know, Lori Macaulay, who's the VP of Vocal and Instrumental Programs, said she would work with Melissa to make sure those kids are able to get a virtual theory exam for voice, even though it's not necessarily in the handbook.
Oh, that's good.
Because it's a small number, and these kids are down in Faribault and they're far from home and they don't have wheels. And so if they can get a virtual theory exam, then the one trip that they have to make to St. Cloud is the only trip they have to make for MMTA this year, which is nice because they've got a lot of other stuff going on. We do that for Popular Styles too. We're super flexible with just making sure kids can get access to virtual exams if they need them. So. Definitely let me know if you have any feedback. This was too long. It was stuff I already knew. You didn't cover the stuff I wanted, and we'll make sure we make this presentation be the right one that everyone needs. I will also, as I said, re-email everybody and put the presentation link in the email, and then definitely use that as a resource. You know, it won't hurt my feelings if everyone just wants to look at the presentation and not sit through an hour of of being talked to. Because I know me personally, if I could get a presentation without having to listen to someone tell me, that would work for me too. So I'll make sure you get that afterwards, and just keep reaching out to us if you have questions, if you have prospective new members you want us to know about or anything. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Helping us do our first ever.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
everyone have a great weekend.
Yes.
And be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.